Joining me on Kumite Radio is Javier Trujillo, the 28-year-old fighting out of Elite Fight Team in Bangkok. What's going on, Javier?
What's up, John? How you doing, man?
Good, man. Let's talk about your new home, Elite Training Center in Bangkok. It's a state-of-the-art facility. Could you describe the facility a little bit and your duties?
Yeah, man. Like we said, we just opened up this February. It's probably the largest training, like MMA or martial arts training center in Bangkok, man. It's like 2,200 square feet. We got everything that you need to run a camp, dude. Like a CrossFit area, functional training, regular weight training. We have this new program for people where it's like a mixture of CrossFit and Muay Thai called Muay Thai 10. We got the Muay Thai program run by trainer Gay, who's like famous on Instagram for just beating the crap out of people, and an excellent trainer. I mean, you definitely feel ready for a fight after training with that guy. Like, I'll give him that. And then now they hired me as running the MMA and the Jiu-Jitsu program there. So I'm just teaching 4 days a week in the afternoons and then in the evening time. So yeah, man, pretty cool.
A few years back when I made a visit to Bangkok and I actually saw you fight live at FMD, yeah. I traveled around, looked at the gyms, searched on the internet, and there was a lot of course, Muay Thai facilities, but not many MMA gyms, and especially not many MMA gyms with all the facilities that Elite Training Center has. So it's kind of a breath of fresh air to the city, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, like you said, I mean, there's many Muay Thai areas. There's probably, only 2 major MMA gyms out here besides us. And I mean, we're trying to push like now that like, okay, Fairtex got Pattaya, we got Phuket, obviously got Tiger and Top Team, that you got Chiang Mai with Team Quest, and we're trying to establish ourselves as that in Bangkok, as like the gym to train at in Bangkok if you're trying to be an MMA fighter or Muay Thai fighter.
How is it growing the Elite Fight Team right now?
It's good. I mean, right now we just took on 3 new guys. I got this one guy, actually he's here right now. His name's Stan, dude. He's going to be a heavyweight fighter. He amateur, no fights yet, but we're building him from the ground up, dude. But he's a freak athlete, so I got a lot of hope for him. We got another guy from Finland in. We got 2 of the Muay Thai guys that want to transition over from the Muay Thai program, 2 big English guys. And obviously Tommy, we got Alex, and then we got Paul at the moment. So that's like the team right now. Obviously we're growing. Hopefully after we establish like memberships in all of the other parts of the gym, then we're going to establish building more of an MMA team presence. So that's kind of the goal of that.
From what you say, it seems like you've been doing a lot of coaching recently. A
lot, yeah. I mean, yeah, like we were talking about, I haven't had an opportunity to fight this year. I've been basically out for a whole year, just no promotions, that offering anything. So in the meantime, I was just staying busy by coaching and building a program from the ground up. And I mean, I liked it, man. Even though I don't have a fight coming up, it occupied my time because it was like, okay, this is the first time somebody's like handed me a program and been like, okay, like run it the way you want to run it. So it's like I always thought about how do I want my school, how would I always wanted a school to be run, and how do I want to establish this? And it's been a fun project for me, And then at the beginning, there wasn't very many students, and when I left Fight Lab, I was seeing hoping that some students would cross over, and most of them stayed, which I understand because it's like people are creatures of habit. You stick to what you know. And I had a few people come over, and then, just like anything, man, if somebody gives me an opportunity, something, I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to put all my effort into it. And I did. And I told myself is like, what, I put a lot of thought into this curriculum and how I want my classes to be run. And I know that once people see that it's a professional level class, that the structure of it, by the time I tell you, if you come in my class, John, by the time you leave my class, I guarantee you are going to leave knowing a proper takedown. You're going to leave understanding a position. You're going to leave understanding a submission. And you're going to understand the full gamut of jiu-jitsu. Like, I'm proud of myself. Like Stan, for an example, with only 2 months of training, he took 2nd place in his first jiu-jitsu tournament, which I was super proud of. That's really unheard of for most people. So that stuff like that kind of kind of like keeps solidifying that, like, hey, you know, the what's the word I'm looking for? If you put in the work, people, and then you show up every day, then people are going to come. And now they are. Like right now, like I'm starting to develop a women's program. I have about 2 or 3 women that are coming on the regular. I have, like, you know, more like 4 to 5 more people coming into the regular classes. It's like I always just let the work speak for itself, and that's where we're at right now. But I'm excited, dude. I'm, like I said, you know, I just can't wait to see where it goes. And like for me personally, like this whole coaching thing, like at first I thought was kind of thankless at times, because, you know, you put in all this work every day, and you see. But now, like, I'm just seeing that how much jiu-jitsu affects people, you know. And I get these students sometimes saying, hey man, like, thank you for what you do. Like, I was in a really dark spot, like I was going through a divorce. Or I have another lady who, she has confidence issues, and jiu-jitsu like helped her to get over these things. And it reminded me, like, with my relationship with my coaches as I was coming up, and I realized, like, oh wow, like this is a great job, man. Like, you know, I got to do what I love every day, and teach people that, you know. So it's been pretty rewarding. Even though I haven't got a fight, I've been having a blast, man.
All right, speaking of fighting, 2017, you built a lot of hype for yourself. You built a big following, especially in Thailand and in Southeast Asia, through Full Metal Dojo. But at the end of that year, in November at FMD 15, you suffered your first career defeat. It was a crazy fight. It was chaos. You know, if anybody that has seen it, if you have not seen it, you better go watch that thing. When you look back at that fight, was there something that you saw, like, hey man, like this is the key point or key time that I made the biggest mistake?
Yeah, man. Like, I think so. Like, after I lost, I just went home and I rewatched it, and, like, you know, that's not the first time I've ever lost. You know, I lost as an amateur before, and you know, this is MMA, dude. Everybody loses. If I mean, you're gonna tell me one person that hasn't lost, I'm gonna tell you somebody who's never really fought anybody. You know, so it happens. And like I said, I went home and I watched it, and like I always tell people, like, when for me, I hate losing. Like, it's like the worst feeling in the world, dude. It's like acid in my mouth. You know, I hate it. And like every time I watch the fight, it's like I always like describe it like a bee sting. You know, you ever been stung by a hornet? And it's like the initial pain is when it hurts the most, and then it kind of goes away, and then the wave comes back, and then it goes away. And then as I kept watching the fight, I kept watching it until, like, I could look at it objectively without any emotion, and see where I messed up. And, you know, I think about, for the most of the first round, I was taking it to him, you know, and then I hit him below the knee, and cracked his cup. But like, I mean, I don't. When I watched it over again, like, I hit him pretty high up, and I don't know exactly. I don't know what I don't must be buying some like Pop Warner fucking plastic cup bullshit. You know, I got a steel Thai cup, bro. I've been in Thailand all the time. You get hit in the nuts. That's shit. It's part of life. But anyways, I mean, then, like, you know, we have like almost a 10-minute break, so it's like I feel like my adrenaline dumped, and I mean, in that first round, I should have had him again, because he messed up on a takedown. I take his back, I try and sink in the rear naked choke, and that was my first mistake. Was that he just, you know, I bring my hand out in front of him, he grabs it and traps it and stalls out for time, so I couldn't sink the choke in, and then I transition into a slick ass armbar where I almost get it in pretty deep, and where I messed up with that is I didn't control and hook the leg and establish control, and grab his thumb to make sure it pointed up towards the sky. The guy was good at jiu-jitsu. I'll give him Eddie that, man. He was good. You know, I feel like if we ran it back, you know, maybe it would go a little bit different. I think it was a 50-50. And I gave him a 20-pound. He had 20 pounds on me. I still took it to him. So, you know, I learned a lot, dude. Like, I definitely learned a lot. Like, I pride myself in being a jiu-jitsu practitioner, and my jiu-jitsu wasn't good enough that day. But you know what the thing is that when in jiu-jitsu, the tap signifies that you don't know enough. You know, I don't know enough jiu-jitsu, and I'm going to give up some of my ego so I can live and train another day. And that's what I love about it. That's what I love about the philosophy. And then that's what I did. Everything I just told you, man, I perfected, you know. So after that loss, you know, I took some time off and just thought about. I had a lot of life transitions in that moment. And my friend Ricardo, I don't, you ever met him, dude? He also used to train at Fight Lab with us. But good friend of mine. The guy's like a brother of mine. But he moved back to Los Angeles, and so he's like, hey man, you know, I know you're not in a good spot. Why don't you come to Los Angeles? You know, you can come stay with me. I live downtown now. You know, and I'm like 15 minutes away from 10th Planet HQ, dude. You should just go over there and train. You can stay at my place. I got a spare room. You know, get you back on your feet. So yeah, man. Like I said, I just wanted to take some time off after that, rested up, healed up, and then flew to Los Angeles and was hanging out with him, caught up, and then I just started training at 10th Planet almost every day. You know, and at first, man, like I felt like, you know, like after you lose, it's like a lack of confidence. You know, you can't trust anything you do, especially after the year I had. You know, I just felt almost invincible, dude. I just, you know, knocked some dude out, had 2 quick finishes, you know, just on a roll. And then when it kind of all halts like that, you know, you got to kind of, you know, kind of take like look back and like revalue everything. So it was just like kind of a weird spot, but I just went back to what I always do, you know, and it's just train. And every day when I went there, dude, it's like at HQ, like the jiu-jitsu level is on a completely different level than any other thing I've ever been in, particularly here in Asia or anywhere else, man. It's just like I just forget, like, everybody's so good, dude. The blue belts, the white belts, everybody is really, really good. And it took me about 2 weeks, but I finally started catching up with everybody, and my confidence built back up. And then it was nice, man, because I got to train under Eddie Bravo, and I got to train under my favorite teacher was Marvin Castell. Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, the guy famous hitting the Eminari roll, and I really, really enjoyed his classes and his teaching method. So I found myself kept going to more of his classes, and slowly we kind of became friends. And then and man, like they just helped me out, like with the whole armbar thing, the rear naked choke. I have a whole system now where I promise that will never happen again. But you know, I filled those holes in my game, and so for the next fight, dude, I think I'll be ready if that situation comes up. So, but man, I had a blast there, and it was crazy, dude. It was like a trip because I always prided myself in being like a 10th Planet Ronin. Like I told you back in the day when I was hot shotting, my friend gave me the book. He was like, hey, dude, you want to be a jiu-jitsu guy, but you want to do MMA? I recommend learning the 10th Planet system. Like, it's all no-gi. It's all a system based around that for MMA. So I'd be on the field line, dude, and going to sleep and just be reading that book. And then it was a trip that my first school was HQ, you know, listening to Eddie Bravo and like just, I don't know, man, it's just kind of like a trip, you know, to be like, holy crap, you know, this is crazy. Yeah, man.
You got your first taste of 10th Planet. You came back to Thailand. You actually attended a 10th Planet retreat with Nathan Orchard at the helm. How was that experience, being able to come back and learning from another instructor, a high-level instructor of 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, man, it was great. Like, I mean, like when I came back, you know, like I said, I had that newfound confidence, you know, just feeling that I've been rolling with such like animals at HQ that like I felt great. And then when I came back, I actually competed at a Siam Sub Series down in Phuket, Alex Shields' promotion. You know, and I took first in the advanced division, and it was a close match for absolute against what's his name, Tetsuya
Yamada.
Yeah, Yamada, man, that guy's tough, dude. But that was fun. Yeah, so that was great. And then I saw that they were having a 10th Planet Summit down in Koh Tao, and so I signed up for it and went down there for a whole week. So it was like two sessions a day, one in the morning, one in the evening, and I had a blast, dude. It was like before I moved out to Thailand permanently, I was out firefighting right outside Portland, Oregon, where 10th Planet Portland is, where he runs his school. And I've always been a fan of his style in particular. I feel like I actually emulate his style a lot. because he broke it down very simple. There's like a few different styles of jiu-jitsu, and his is called transitional, which is where you're always just moving from one spot to the next to the next to the next. And I find myself doing that as well. So to study under him was really cool, and I just like his outlook on jiu-jitsu and his philosophy on it, and it really inspired me, particularly as a teacher, because I could see how much he loved teaching, and I wanted to bring that to my students. So I got a lot out of that, and being on Koh Tao, dude. I don't know if you've been in Koh Tao yet, but it's a beautiful island, man. And the guys at Monsoon Gym and 10th Planet Koh Tao, they got a cool thing going on. So I'd definitely be making a trip there pretty soon. So yeah, I love it down there, man. It's great.
In the video that I watched, I think it was a Stuart Cooper film of that retreat, you see the board that is on the wall. And that board looks like, like when you watch a movie and they're trying to make a connection between all the criminal syndicate or whatever. There's pictures on the wall and it's all lined together with lines. Like that. Yeah, everything is connected, right? I saw that board and it kind of reminded me of that. Is that something that connects with you?
Yeah, man. Like we were saying before we started, like the 10th Planet system, dude, like I was saying, compared to any other system in jiu-jitsu that I've seen, I feel like any other system, there's no correlation, there's no connection from technique to technique to technique. It's just like you do one thing and then you go to the next, and there's no connection. That's where like the 10th Planet system, when you look at it as a whole, is like how you see it, like that board. It's like, it's not necessarily like a string of like trying to find a crime, but you got to look at it more like almost like a spider web, as where like these different connections always go back to the same spot. And it was cool, especially seeing that board and then like listening to Nathan. A lot of those are because that's kind of like Nathan's school. He always likes to go down there and he kind of helps out those guys and promotes them. So they base that around a lot of his system. So like when we're drilling a lot of these techniques, you can just reference the board and you can kind of see this massive thing that you're trying to figure out. But yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I think it's a very complete system. It's very systematic, and it makes sense. I think that's why I like the 10th Planet system. It's very forward thinking, and it's always progressing. As where sometimes I feel other programs are very dogmatic. They don't want to give up the gi, or they don't want to give up this, or whatever. We've always done it like this way, so it's very traditional. As where I feel like the 10th Planet system is always just trying to push the thing. Once everybody embraced the leg lock, or once the Danaher guys started doing the leg locks, Eddie Bravo embraced it because he knew that that's where things are going. As where a lot of other people were kept trying to reject it. Now you see everybody now is on the bandwagon. So it's like I said, man, it's a very cool system. The philosophy behind it, I think, is genius, and I'm like happy to be a part of that now.
During your trip, you met, a person that you look up to, Roger Huerta. How was that experience?
Oh, dude, that was a trip, man. It was like 4 days into it, and me and one of the other guys, we were like driving down to the beach, gonna meet up with a couple of the guys from the camp, and they were all gonna go snorkeling. And when we get down there, they're all just chilling by the beach, and we walk over, and I'm like walking up, and then I was like, oh hey, it's like, oh, Stuart Cooper, that's cool, hey man, nice to meet you. And then I like look over, and I'm like, man, this guy looks super familiar. I'm like looking, I'm like, holy shit, dude, it's Roger Huerta. He's like, hey man, what's up? And he's actually the guy I was telling you about, Ricardo. Him and Ricardo are really good friends. And I told him, hey, Ricardo's my buddy. He's like, oh shit, So we started chatting it up, and yeah, man, it was awesome. Yeah, he was somebody I looked up to, like when I was like 14, man. When I started getting into like MMA, like just as a fan, he was like the first guy that like I was a really big fan of, because he's Mexican, of Mexican descent. And I remembered, like, at that time, being an MMA fan was like saying you were a fan of like BDSM, like some, or like snuff films or something. Is like people looked at you weird, And I remembered walking into our local grocery store, and I remember seeing the cover of Sports Illustrated, and it was like Roger Huerta like front kicking a dude into a cage, and he just like looks super menacing, right? And it's just like, you know, Ultimate Fighting, is it, you know, too brutal or is it the future? You know, I was like, whoa, dude, like that's crazy. Like we finally got an MMA fighter on like a Sports Illustrated, like our sport's legit, you know? And yeah, man, and he has like such a cool background because he grew up in Mexico, always hustling, and then to make a living off of a sport at the time where you could literally, there was no money in it. And somehow he found to make a living, and then travel to Asia and help establish Tiger and to do all these things, and and just to get his philosophy on fighting and in life, man, was like really cool and inspiring. You know, I think he's down in Phuket right now training, but really awesome guy, dude. It was an honor to finally meet him, you know.
For sure. Anytime you can meet somebody like that that has been in the game for so long, they could give you little bits of knowledge that you could take with you for the rest of your career.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, man. I mean, and then he was like talking about losses and stuff with him, and he's like, you know, at the beginning, he's like, I think it's just that Mexican mentality. It's like, you know, it's always very all or nothing. And he said like, once I moved to Asia and I saw how like the Thais train and everything like that, it's like, you know what, losing isn't the biggest deal. As long as you can get up and you dust yourself off and you work hard and you try again, that's all they can care, and that's all you can do. And he's like, well, and at the end of the day, you know, that's what you got to live with. You know, there's gonna be setbacks. It's just what you decide to do with it. What defines you as a man, you know. And I took that to heart for sure. So like for that little piece of advice, yeah, I thank you for it. You know.
Training MMA, you know, coaching, jiu-jitsu, sparring, you get a lot of injuries, aches and pains. And I noticed that you're a big proponent of CBD.
I got to link up with a company called Canna CBD. They're based out of the UK, and the owner Tim Kite, dude, is a good friend of mine now. Really great guy. He actually, you know, he before he got involved with Canna CBD, he used to be a rescue diver. He used to help save people like down when they had the tsunami in Phuket, and he also helped those boys that were stuck in the cave up in Chiang Rai. Like the dude's like a crazy super. Like he's pretty well off now, but he still does that stuff, man. And to me, like being a firefighter, like knowing that call of duty and call to action for like somebody who has money and who has a family and has no reason to be out there, can go out and help those people like that is amazing. But anyways, like for the CBD, talking to him and he was telling me about the benefits, I definitely wanted to give it a try. So I started using it in February, and just like these like oral drops, and you take 2 in the morning and then 2 at night, and man, it helps out with like inflammation. So like particularly for me or any jujitsu guy, man, you know, you're getting contorted, dude. You're getting arm barred, you're getting yanked on, and you're gonna get pain in your joints, and it relieves a lot of pain, man. Like especially in the mornings, you know, like any fighter who knows that when you get up, dude, it's like I feel like an old man trying to walk around, and it's been kind of nice to wake up and feel like, oh yeah, you know, I'm all right. But I to be honest, I think I found the major health benefit for me was at night before you sleep, dude. Like what I highly recommend, even for you. I don't know, you got problems sleeping at night?
Not really.
No, good for you, man. But like for fighters and jiu-jitsu guys, I think it's hard because everybody has like these bouts of insomnia. I find it really common, man. And I remember asking a jiu-jitsu coach one time, like, hey, dude, I find myself having a hard time sleeping. And he's like, you know why? And he's like, why? He's like, well, because you're getting in a fight every day.
Hmm.
I was like, wait, what do you mean? And he's like, well, yeah, you're training jiu-jitsu, and yeah, you're drilling, and yeah, like you know that you're just training, but your body can't tell the difference. Your body thinks you're in a fight. So what happens when you're in your fight? You get a raised level of adrenaline and cortisol in your system. And when that happens, you're more alert and you're more awake. And if you're somebody who trains in the evening time, like normal people, you know, who have a day job and they can only train in the evening, that's why you're up, because your body can't tell the difference between training and you fighting on a street with some crazy hobo. You know, it's all the same to you. So that's why you're up, you know. And so like I was like, oh crap. So that's a problem. I know so many fighters that have a hard time sleeping, man. And it's because of that. You have raised cortisol levels. So one of the benefits of CBD, when I started So man, like anytime I get into something, I get into it deep, right? So I started studying about it. And one of the benefits about CBD is that what it does is it lowers your cortisol levels, which also get rid of inflammation. So that's why you get like less pain and aches in your joints. And and also when your cortisol level drops, then you're more calm, thus letting you sleep. So like if anybody's out there and they want a good sleeping routine, this is what I've been doing is that like you get a foam roller, you see those?
Yeah.
Or like a mobility ball, and you roll out on your back for like 5 to 10 minutes, working out the kinks. So that way, like, after you get a massage, how you feel pretty relaxed, like you want to go like lay down or sleep. Same thing, but it's a self massage. So I'll do that. Then I take a supplement called ZMA, which is like zinc and magnesium. Then it helps to relax you as well. And then I have some chamomile tea, and I just put 2 drops of my CBD, and man, I'm out like a light, dude. It's nice. Like like sleeping is, for any athlete out there, is the best. Like 8 hours of sleep is the best PED you could be taking. You're getting the right amounts of hormones and like HGH and testosterone into your system to help you fully recover. Like did you listen to that podcast with Rogan when he was talking about, he had that guy on with the book called Why We Sleep?
I listened to it, but I don't remember it. I've listened to so many podcasts, I don't remember it.
Dude, like, yeah. So I listened to that one, and it freaked me out because like all the years from firefighting, there are days where like I hadn't slept, like working 32-hour shifts, like just days where you're not sleeping. Dude, that's so bad for your health. I come to find out, I read the book too, and it's like, dude, like I was like thinking in my head, it's like, man, how many days I like just shortened my life just because just not sleeping, and then training, same thing. You just have all nighters, and when I used to work as a doorman, you're up all night too. So it's like, fuck, dude, you're really messing up your health. And I started correlating when I had my worst injuries is when I had the less amount of sleep. Like when I had about 4 to 5 hours of sleep at night, that's when I had the worst injuries in my life. So once I kind of start putting those together, I try to make it a habit of every night just going through this like little routine to kind of get me relaxed and put me to sleep. So every night I got 8 hours of sleep, and lo and behold, dude, I think just from that alone, from the CBD, like that as a benefit has been super key, and just for my overall quality of life, man. I think for anybody, it's great, you know. So, yeah, I'm a big proponent of it. I think anybody out there, I highly recommend it.
Do you think that the CBD has a mental effect, a cognitive effect on you?
If anything, it has a calming effect. I don't really see that it has like some people, they're afraid because it comes from the marijuana the cannabis plant, but it's only one part of it, right? So you have the two chemical components. You have the THC, and then you have the CBD, and it just completely isolates the CBD part. So there's no psychoactive effect of it, but CBD is known to have a calming effect. So for like people who have like anxiety, or like people who like have like kind of like depression or any of these type of things, it's been known to kind of calm them down. I haven't personally seen that benefits, but maybe somebody else does. But yeah, that studies have shown that it can help to relieve anxiety and stress and all these things. Because why? Because you're lowering your cortisol levels, right? Lower your cortisol levels, you lose weight, you maintain a healthy sleeping pattern, and I think it's cool, man. It's a wonder drug, and for cancer patients, like it's been known to help eat away at cancer and help aid them. It's just I'm excited that like now, like you're seeing it in England now, it's becoming legal. You're seeing now it's in 18 different states in America now. These things are becoming legal just because we're seeing all the benefits, and it's crazy that like we've like nobody can be adults about this and be like, listen, man, this thing is obviously a medicine. Like everybody chill the fuck out. I've seen what it's done for my life. I've seen somebody who's going through cancer who was also taking this. It completely reversed it. He had a tumor in his brain, and so they couldn't do chemotherapy on him. So what they did is they gave him the CBD, and then they gave him this THC oil called they call it the Rick Simpson protocol. Anybody should look it up online if they know somebody who has cancer or anything like that. I think it's really important for people to know this information. But this guy, I met him, he had a tumor that was growing in his brain. It was like, or not a tumor, but like a cancer cell that was growing in his brain. And he's starting to shut off his motor functions. And after taking this Rib-Simpson protocol, which is concentrated THC and concentrated CBD, they shrunk it by 80%. When I first met him, the guy couldn't talk. And like 3 weeks later, when I met him, the guy could talk. He could move his hands, and it's amazing, man. Why are we keeping this illegal? For what? It's saving people's lives, and it's like I said, the more and more I delve into this, I can see like, oh, holy this is an amazing plant, and we got to get the stigma and the fear out of it, and embrace it. Like, hey, this is how we're gonna save people. It might save your parent. It might save my parent one day. So be educated.
Well, Thailand is moving towards legalizing it for medical use very soon, right?
Yeah. Yes, because with the number one killer here in Thailand is cancer. And so now that they're seeing that this Rib-Simpson protocol can be done, and you're seeing doctors here that are slowly backing it more and more, and they're holding conferences here. They're realizing that yes, there is an actual benefit for it. And I think economic wise, if it's the only Asian country that legalizes medical marijuana, you think about the economical boom that this country will be huge. It'll no longer have to be just tourism. It'll be medical tourism that everybody comes here, because you can go and get your cancer treatment here, and not get the effects of chemotherapy or radiation and slowly killing yourself. Like, you can get it and go through your treatment and it'd be well, man. So I think it's amazing. That's why I love Thailand, dude. It's a great country. They get it.
Definitely one of the most open-minded Asian countries in the region.
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, you've been all over the place too. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I'm happy for him, man. I hope everything goes through. Let's just see.
The only question left is, what is in your future, man? Like, what do you have planned for the rest of the year? Do you have some fights lined up? What's going on with that?
Well, so hopefully with the scheduling thing, if everything is all right, September 22nd, I'll be fighting for Full Metal Dojo 16, Big Trouble Little Bangkok. We'll be fighting a Muay Thai fighter. I don't know if I can release the name yet until we kind of have everything all signed and on the dot. But it's going to be an exciting fight. I guarantee you guys. Like I said, even though I have not fought in a year, I've been training like a freaking madman, and I can't wait to get in there. Every time I step into that cage, I think it's an awesome performance. Win or lose, man, it's going to be a great fight. I'm going to take it to them, and I'm going to hope I put on a good show for you guys. Outside of that, hopefully I'll be fighting in Cambodia as well. And if any other promotion out there, man, is looking for somebody, dude, I'm here, man, and like I said, I'm here to bang. You want me to put on a good show? I do. You know it too, man. So that's the idea. Hopefully by next year, I want to try and get four more fights under my belt for my MMA career, and at least as a coach wise, like right now, like I said, with all the 10th Planet stuff and getting involved with those guys, like now I'm pushing to hopefully by January of next year, if everything goes correctly, I will have the opening party the grand opening for 10th Planet Bangkok, which will be right out of Elite Training Center. So then we'll be running the 10th Planet system and have a 10th Planet location based out of Thailand. So there'll be two, 10th Planet Koh Tao and 10th Planet Bangkok, which I'll be the lead instructor for. So that's the goal, man. And hopefully it all works out.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
If you don't know about Javier, you better YouTube him.
Yeah, man. You know what's up, dude.
All right, Javier, it was good talking to you. Always good talking to you, man.
Yeah, man, it's always fun, bro.
Kumite Radio is brought to you by Supplement Warfare. Visit their website, supplementwarfare.com.au, for the best quality supplements on the planet. Use coupon code Kumite Radio at checkout to get 10% off of all orders. If you're trying to get sexy for the summer, if you're just trying to flex on fools, visit supplementwarfare.com.au for the best supplements in the world. Use coupon code Kumite Radio at checkout to get 10% off and support the podcast.